All right, so big patch for Evil Dead. New map. All the guns got changed. All the demons got changed. A lot of other things got changed that weren't even mentioned. So just wanted to quickly go over those and highlight some things that are really important. So all the guns got weaker. Every single rarity got weaker. Chainsaw. All the chainsaws are better at dismembering. All the supports can use their heal or their amulets and they don't have to be as close anymore. So 8 meters. So that's a nice little buff for all the supports. Puppeteer, since I've been saying it sucks, I guess they understood. I mean, it was clear. So all the Puppeteer units got buffed. I guess Illigos got the smallest buff, but uh, basic units now hit almost as strong as elites were hitting before this patch. So basics got the biggest buff, then elites, and then the boss got the smallest buff, but still buffs across puppeteer. That's good. Possessed cars are a little harder to kill, so when you get out, or I should say, when you possess a car, and all the survivors get out, and they usually melee it and can get it back. Now it's going to be a little harder for them, and we hit a little harder. So a buff for demons here as far as cars go. And this stuff is pretty interesting. So basically, they made it so that it's much harder to just bounce from basic to basic when you're not on an objective, right? When you are at objective or events, right, Page, Dagger, or Necro, everything is kind of small again. The cost to possess and to maintain. But if you're not on a objective, for example, Necromancer basics, right? Normally 20, now are going to be 60, and they're going to deplete really quickly. So, off of objectives or events, it's going to be much hard. You're going to have to make a lot more use out of all the time you spend possessing because they're going to die very quickly, and it costs a lot to possess them. So, pretty interesting change here. I like it overall. It means you're going to have to just play better. You can't just run around with a basic or whatever unit forever because it takes forever to drain your energy. Now, that forever to drain your energy really only matters at events, which is kind of what's the point of the events, anyways. You kind of have unlimited infernal energy. So, that's a pretty big change. Everybody's balance bar got weaker, so that's also good for all the survivors. And this one's kind of cool. So possession, just that ability, got a big buff. Now it has additional perks um, when you get to I think like level 3 or something, and it is just really good. So much so that they say that you have to be level 6 on Warlord and Necromancer to even get possession, which is interesting that they don't have that requirement for Puppeteer. I'll talk more about that in a little bit, but yeah, possession is very good, uh, more so now than ever. And bosses level 4 and 5 hit a little harder, so that's kind of cool. This really doesn't make any difference because that ability sucks. And so this first bullet point here is good. I do use this skill. I think I do have it at level 3. Now it's going from 1 to 2 to 3 instead of a half to 1 to 2, I think it was before, or 3 or something. But now it's much more linear, and that means you probably don't need to get it to level 3, but either way, it's a little buff. Ed got a little nerfed as far as his crossbows. Kelly got back the nerf that she just got from the previous balance patch got reverted, so she's back to 2%. Scotty's thing hits a little harder, and Lord Arthur, it's 5 seconds now instead of 3, which makes a lot more sense because it takes like over 3 seconds to perform the finisher. It feels like at least, so it felt like it was just canceling it out. Now it feels like there's actually a use to use finishers while you have your ability on, so that's cool. So these are all the changes that were mentioned, but there were some changes that weren't explicitly mentioned in this right here, and that's in my opinion, the bigger, I mean, not the bigger, there's a lot of very big changes, but some very big changes happened that weren't spelled out. So I spelled that out. So changes that weren't specified. So let's go through them slowly so it's a little more exciting. So Warlord. Basics can't jump out of their puke anymore. So when you puke, you usually, as soon as they get affected by the puke and they're in that animation where they're covering it off, you can just dodge out of it or jump, and you can just dodge towards them and start heavy attacking them because you have that much time to hit them before they are able to act again, or light attack, but you really have enough time to heavy attack, which is huge. But now, after you puke, you have to wait out the whole animation. That is huge because that was literally the best thing Warlord had. Basics were the best, and being able to jump, dodge out of puke was basically the best tool that everybody was abusing. Boss can't gas anymore. So mid combo. So what I used to do with the boss was do a 4-piece with light attacks, because heavy attacks takes too long and easier to dodge. You do a 4-piece or not even. As soon as you see them dodging, you can just cancel it with gas. So you can do a 1 gas, 2 gas, whatever. Now you can't do that. So the best thing to do when you boss with Warlord now is to gas immediately and then start doing your attacks, because after you do your attacks, you won't be able to cancel your attacks with the gas and continue throwing out anymore. They fixed that. I guess that was a bug. So that's all for Warlord. Necromancer. So I didn't think they would have buffed the basics, but they did. And anybody that plays Necromancer basics, when they possess them, they'll see that they attack faster. Don't know why they did it. It's pretty cool, I guess. But yeah, they attack faster. Basic attacks and light attacks definitely come out faster. I don't want to say maybe every single move of the combo, but I don't have the exact numbers, but try it out. You'll definitely see what I'm talking about. And the boss, this is so huge. These changes are so huge. So the fact that you can't dodge out of your light attacks or even heavy attacks anymore is one of the reasons that the boss was so powerful for Necromancer. And now you can't do it anymore. So before you were able to do a 4-piece light attack and then just dodge out of it with no cooldown in between, and it was busted. I have several videos of me doing that, and you can see any game I played Necromancer that I used the boss. I abused that, and it was broken. So I'm glad they fixed that. So you have to be a lot more careful about how you just throw out your light attacks. If you start missing, uh, you're gonna start getting punished pretty hard. And you can't scare with you can't double scare with trees. So basically what you could have done was, before this balance patch, was possess a tree, wait for the tree to get automatically triggered by somebody going near it, and then as soon as it gets triggered, you could possess the tree and then use the scare again. So you could just get 2 scares out of one tree with the trap and then manually scaring them. You can't do that anymore because they now both share the same cooldown, which is how it should have been, right? I guess these are all bugs that should not have been there, and now they're fixed. So all of these are huge. I don't know why they didn't spell it out, but I guess because they're bugs and they didn't want to address all of them. There's probably more that I haven't noticed yet. I haven't noticed anything with Puppeteer, interestingly enough. The units seem to attack the same speed. Um, I don't notice anything in terms of animation canceling that you could do that you couldn't do before. As far as Puppeteer, since he did get a buff, yeah, it's the first demon I'm gonna try. Seeing what the new meta is for him, and it definitely seems like it's not going to be elites. It's going to be more basic unit focused, and I'll get more into that on a Puppeteer video. This is more about balance, but basically, I just wanted to say you're still able to dodge out of your strings with basics. So you could do like a light attack into 2 heavy attacks into another light attack and then dodge. And then that way you avoid that little cooldown. It's not like a full like animation cancel dodge or whatever. I'm sure it's not a bug, that's why it's not addressed or anything, but it's just like a more effective way to play. But it's not broken like this was, where you could just literally dodge as soon as your move connected. And on a boss that was broken. So these are the changes. I guess I'll just leave this up here. I'm gonna be playing all the demons and the survivors and seeing how good they all are and all that. Warlord, I gotta say, is beatable. I have to try some more boss and some other builds. Warlord is beatable, not any longer unbeatable. Same with Necromancer. It feels like they're beatable now. Although I still think Necromancer is the best. I think Puppeteer might have passed Warlord now though. Because Warlord, this is so huge. This was the bread and butter, and you can't do that anymore. Alright, so that's the video. I'll post some videos after this of some gameplay and anything else I learned. So, oh yeah, and I guess let me know if you guys notice any other bug changes that are pretty big. So, yeah.